Good evening, all. Made it through another week. Man, was it a fun one. Just gonna give a little checkaroo. I always love checking. I love checking things off the box. I love checking things off the list. I just do. It's a favorite for me. And we all have these endless lists, and it depends on what you put on your list. I strive to put achievable goals on mine, and so they're pretty achievable, and I achieve them. That said, I had quite a bit come to me today. If you go back and you watch the Prefla videos I've made in the last October, it'll be 2 years. You should gather a pretty good understanding with me when it comes to certain things of who I am and how I operate. I know it's difficult for a lot of people because a lot of people go based off hearsay, they go based off their own insecurities, and they go based off their ego and their flesh and the desire to want to be right for whatever reason. That's between them and, whatever it is they're feeling at that point. I can't fix something I'm unaware of, and I just don't attempt to anymore. But one thing about me is I do not carry grudges. I don't carry grudges. I do not sweat the small stuff. And I just leave things where they're at. That's something I've adopted in the last few years. I've adopted it and I've mastered it. Because it's just in this point at where we're walking right now, it's just pointless to hold grudges when it comes to meaningless stuff. You don't ever know what people are going through. You don't ever know where they're basing their choices off of, where they're basing their actions off of, and I say that it doesn't mean that I allow people to mistreat me. I allow people to be disrespectful towards me by any means. That's definitely a hard pass, but I don't sweat the small stuff when it comes to back-ended compliments, back-ended illusions, back-ended friendships, back-ended things. I understand people move and operate for their own tunnel vision and their own success rate. And they latch on, they leech on, and they do whatever it is they're going to do. And they're always going to do that. That's the world that we've walked ourselves into, all of us individually. And it's one of those things that you just kind of learn to adopt. Like you don't sweat it. You don't sweat it, because if you continually sweat things on reference to how you're treated and groups and not being favored and not, all this stuff, you're just holding yourself back to things that truly don't matter. They really don't. If you're not being welcomed, or if you're not, liked, if you're not whatever, then you're not meant to. It's not a group you're supposed to be in. Is the way I see it. If people aren't in your life, they're not in your life for a reason. Who knows? Maybe they'll come back to your life later on down the road, or maybe they won't, or maybe they were just in your life for a season for a reason. That happens as well. And so for me, I just, I learn everything that I can in every circumstance, in every situation, every relationship, every conversation, and that's personal and work related. I'm so engulfed in being a sponge that I just want to learn more about myself and about the world and about the reality that we're all walking in, because I can feel myself evolving. I can feel myself growing in the way that I'm supposed to, because I can just feel it. And you'll get to that place in your walk when you start moving and operating in your truth and your values and your morals, and you quit worrying about the other stuff. Another thing that came to me when I just walked in the door, Fox News was on. I find it to be comical when you see this administration talk about there needs to be leadership change. I don't know what he was talking about. He was definitely he's in the Trump administration talking about leadership change. Who knows what they were talking about? But at the end of the day, it's like, bro, leadership change. I don't know that those words should come out of any of y'all's mouth at this point. I don't think that's a wise choice. Whoever gave you that cue card or that talking point or that reality for those words to leave your mouth was not a good idea. Not a good idea. Right now we're at a place where it's all of you guys that are choosing to send our military, our brothers and sisters over there to fight in something that doesn't even concern us. It just doesn't. Why should we lose the lives of our military and our brothers and sisters for a country that we are not even in? And what do they do for us exactly? I'm trying to figure that out. Besides control 95% of the politicians, besides that factor of it, what is it that they do for us? I just, it's crazy to me. And then you got them standing behind a podium talking about leadership change. Yeah, I'll start with yourself. I'll go first, and it's just, it's crazy. The things that they're just in their own little world. I'm loving everything I'm seeing in reference to Drewski and Erica and the debacle of that. And just everything that Candace has been reposting, and Tucker and Barron. And it's one of those things. The trajectory is going to happen. The fall is going to happen. We're in the brink of the fall. It's inevitable. And something that came to me on my way home just a minute ago. A part of me feels like this war is also being strategically played so they can make money on the back end. Although wars do cost a lot of money, there's a lot of strategic plays happening right now on the sidelines with a lot of them. When they buy into the stock, they buy into the oils, they buy into all this, and they're making a prefla of money. And they're manipulating the system. They're manipulating the financial system, as they've always done. But I feel as though they're doing that as well as because their pockets are getting thin and they need more money to keep funneling out to this entire cover-up, into this entire psyop, into all these bots, into all these people, and all these people that are involved in whatever way they are. I mean, the money is running thin, and so they're creating all these different angles, I believe, whether I'm right or not, but it's something that popped into my head. Another thing that popped into my head yesterday when I was thinking about the Democrats and the Republicans, right? And I was thinking about the election coming up and how it's going to be a turn. Florida took a turn. Democrat, Miss Emily, I think that's her name, won. And so I do believe that we are going to see a trajectory where you're going to have the Democrats come in. But there's such an angle that this can be played if they play it properly, I believe. And I'm not saying I'm for Democrat, I'm for Republican. I'm for what's right. I'm for what's right, period. Across the board. I don't care who you are, what your affiliation is. I just want what's right. I just want justice. I just want the truth. I want every American citizen to be able to be provided a life that they deserve. And I want fairness, and I want equality, and I want all of these things. These are not hard fetches. But if it gets to a place where, say, the Democrats come in and they're running, there's a majority of Democrats, they could come in and really clean house and do the right thing. Now, are there many of them linked up in all of this? Absolutely. Yeah. Do they get paid, by Israel? Yeah, of course. Duh. However, this is going to be at a position where they're going to be holding the cards. And they can kind of do whatever they want. And if so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so says, hey, if you do this, we're going to tell all your dirty secrets. And then they could say, hey, well, go ahead, I'll tell all yours. If they relinquish the power of all the money and the control, and they just go in and do what's right, do what's needed to be done for a long time, it could be such a precipice of a different time frame and really just totally change politics altogether. I know it's a far-fetch, but it came into my head yesterday. I was like, wow, that would be really interesting play out. There's a lot of different things that can transpire in the next few years. I think it's going to get very interesting, to say the least. I think it's going to get very interesting. And I see a lot of different things that a lot of people have no idea what's coming. And I want people to be ready. You have to relinquish the identity of your affiliation to politics. You have to relinquish it from yourself. You have to quit identifying yourself as a Republican or a Democrat or a liberal or this. Identify yourself as who you are. Remove that completely. Remove it completely. So many people get lost in the identity of politics. And it's like, it's literally nothing physical. Why would you put your identity to something like that? Why? It doesn't even make sense, actually. The fact that we've landed this far and we've now created a system where we have so many people that identify themselves at what their affiliation is, whether it's Republican, Democrat, liberal, whatever. Isn't that crazy if you think about it? I thought about that too. I was like, wow, they really did run a good psyop, didn't they? They did. I give them that. Good job. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. And till next time. Love you guys.